Greetings. Welcome to Evil Dojo. We will be starting soon. Time to take some medicine.
Hell yeah, I don't really want no top. Hell yeah, I don't really want no hope. I don't really want no hope. Hell yeah, I don't really want that. Hell yeah, I don't even really wanna die. Hell yeah, I don't really wanna do shit. Bitch, world got me down and I wanna just quit. Hell yeah, I don't wanna play no shows. Hell yeah, I don't wanna make no clothes. Hell yeah, I don't wanna write you a verse, bitch. Yeah, I don't wanna talk no love. I don't really want no weed. Hell yeah, I don't really want no friends. Hell yeah, I don't really need no whip. Hell yeah, I don't really want no ends. Hell yeah, I don't really want no weed. Hell yeah, I don't really want no friends. Hell yeah, I don't really need no whip. Hell yeah, I don't really want no ends. Hell yeah.
This world is a school.
Now I'm coming at you with sick flow. Dark mage of evil dojo. I like to write code when I am stoned, fucking up your brain. I'm always on the low. Now I'm coming at you with sick flow. Dark mage of evil dojo. I like to write code when I am stoned, fucking up your brain. I'm always on the low. I'm a broke motherfucker and I hate load. Fuck a gypsy, put his brains in a damn moat. Motherfuckers on FNet are so damn old. Bunch of fucking skids, cannot even code. Inside of my mind, this is just by design. I am feeling too fine to relax and unwind, so I'm hyping me up on the coffee and kind of blowing out smoke. I continue to grind. Buried heads in the grave, every one of you slaves. I will punish you names if you do not behave. Fuck what you chatters say. Fuck what the topic says. Chrono's that autistic bitch. Waste my time, I don't give a shit. All the dude does is run scripts. He would not be here if he was legit. Eraser need to buy a damn gun. Stay on your toes, bitches on the run. I told you all I do this shit for fun. If you didn't know, my A game is number one.
Where's my whiskey? I'm gonna get tore up.
Now I'm coming at you with sick flow. Dark mage of evil dojo. I like to write code when I am stoned, fucking up your brain. I'm always on the low. Now I'm coming at you with sick flow. Dark mage of evil dojo. I like to write code when I am stoned, fucking up your brain. I'm always on the low.
All that we say and do is right.
Okay. Check it out. We got this thing going. So this is the intro scene for the game environment thingy that I'm building. So that's pretty cool. And I want to spend some time kind of fucking around moving this forward because a lot of the same ideas that I'm playing around with and building this little title scene, this little company Evil Dojo 666 presents scene, are going to be applicable to the other scenes that I have to build, such as like a menu scene, a pause scene, like a fucking gameplay scene, game over scene. You know, there's going to be a lot of different contexts that different parts of the game are going to need to like show. So let's do this thing. So with this intro scene, this company presents scene, the cube is like hard coded in, right? So we're actually just defining the cube right here, but if I wanted to make this more dynamic, what if I wanted the cube to be in like different positions? Or what if I wanted the cube to like update position on every frame, right? So I'm going to show y'all some real basic refactoring to give you an idea of like how you can take something that works and then modify it in a way so that it's more modular, so that you can change something somewhere else and have it still work exactly the same way in another location. A lot of times when I'm writing code, I will just get something working first, and then I'll go back and refactor my code so that it does something in a like more efficient way, or it accepts parameters or something to this effect. So as an example of this, what if we wanted to like have some random value in here? So for anything that we modify in game loader, it's not going to get picked up by the hot reload. Anything in libgame, however, will get picked up by hot reload. So we're going to have to reload the game once, like we're actually going to have to close it and reopen it. But one of the things that we're going to do is move the cube around on the screen automatically, right? Because like the camera is bouncing up and down automatically. So all of that's fully auto at this point, and we don't have to do a whole lot because that's actually updating here in update game state. So that's all handled right here. And let's see. Yeah. This is all of that code. I suppose I could comment this a bit better. But you see, I just made a change and it did that, but like as an example to show you that the dynamic reload actually works. Can we make a transparent cube? I'm just curious. Yeah, cube's transparent now. That's cool. So if we wanted like a white cube, boom, there you go. So, but as is per the color aesthetic, I like two particular shades of gray. I like hashtag 333 and I like hashtag 666. It's only convenient that, you know, the digit 666 happen to also correspond to a pleasing shade of gray, right? That's not my fault. So now I gotta, that color right there is 666 666. So the slightly darker one is 333. Shout outs to anyone who's actually watching right now. I need to turn off the OBS preview. And I suppose it might be helpful to actually have like a chat window up. Okay. I'm not sure my environment here IRL is fully auto, like optimal. But we're getting there. We're working on it. Okay. What is like optimal microphone position, right? Like figure out, should it go up, should it go down, should it go left or right? Is it in my hands way? Can I reach my coffee cup? All that kind of stuff. So now that that's done, I'm going to move this cube around on the screen. How do we do that? So open up company scene. So in company scene, we've got several different structures. We've got an int x, we've got an int y, we've got an int scale, a texture 2D presents, camera 2D, and a camera 3D, and a cube color. Although it's not position related, I want to add a wire color, or a cube wire color, to start with. And I also want to fix another problem that's going to become a problem as sizes of data structures change and increase and decrease. We want to start like having a better way to calculate the size of the thing. I don't trust size of necessarily for doing whole structs, but I do trust taking the size of each property in a struct and then adding those sizes together in order to figure out how big your struct actually is. This is something I've been doing since college. My professor who signed my diploma taught me this. So to ease the burden of having to type size of every single time we want to add something to this define or to this macro, as an example of this, I might do define size of int in, and then that way we can actually specify in ints when we call this this macro, right? So to redefine that, to use the new macro that we just introduced, we have to say size of int, all caps, with, because there's 3 integers, 3 right there. So this actually saves us some characters typing. We you still have size of, we have new, we have the same parentheses, but now we can get rid of the times 3 aspect, right? Because we're just passing that in. So this is a little bit more dynamic and might make for an easier time when it comes to putting these together. So let's do something similar for the others. We don't need to do float right now, but we could do texture. And camera. And color. So now size of that, size of all those, and that looks much nicer. It actually fits on one line now. SZ is such a inconvenient key sequence for me to type as a left-hander. Like SZ, like they're literally right next to each other on the keyboard. It's often the result of a typo. Now I'm actually thinking, how can I make it easier to type those 2 characters? It's like SIZV, SIZE, like very left-hand centric key sequence. So all of this is in the interest of smoothing out our process, right? So we just introduced a new color, but we do need this to be a macro that can accept a parameter because we're going to want to multiply this by n. So at the very end, because now we have two colors. There should be no situation where we have two cameras. But we could do size of cameras. Add those together, and now we can get rid of those, and we could just say size of cameras. So because it's a .h file, it doesn't recompile whenever we do that. If we wanted to be super specific about that, we would have to we have to remove company scene.o. So now the company scene.c would need to be rebuilt. And it crashed the game during the open. So we would also have to recompile libgame. So because I think we are making reference to things in company scene in game loader. So any sort of changes that we make to the scene, we need to actually, like, if we're redefining things, we're gonna have to recompile everything. But if we're making like changes to things that are already existing on the object, like properties, and we're not like adding new properties, because adding the new properties causes a lot of things to mess up, like calculation of addresses and stuff like that. So if it attempts to access something and it's like null, or it's not there, or it's at an old location, good chance that you're going to crash. So in this case, it's kind of what happened. So in the company scene, so we can just specify cube color, cube wire color, so now when we init the cameras, so this initializes cameras, we want to actually init colors. So because we're doing colors here and we're doing colors down, we're not doing colors down here, we need to sync these two functions up. One of them returns a pointer, the other returns a company scene on the stack. I forget which I'm actually using in game loader, but I wrote two versions of this because I thought it would be useful. So as per like good refactoring, set cube colors cube color and then we have set cube wire color. So now we have two new functions, and we need to add them to our .h file so that they're exposed to other processes. So now we have two new functions that allow us to set the cube color and the wire color. because as I was saying earlier, currently we're pulling cube color from the scene, and we can, as I demonstrated, we're able to change the color on the fly while the game is running. So we're gonna have a color C2. And that's gonna go here. So now we can change the cube wires on the fly, right? See, currently we can't see them because they're all set to the same color. Oops. Okay, so to demonstrate that we can change the cube wire color now, boom. So if we wanted to just like flip these around entirely, now we have a white cube with black lines, or gray lines rather. So that's to show like what and how easy it is to do this, right? Like if we want to extend something, all we have to do is attach a property here for the cube position. Oops. Now we do need a define for float, right? Because we just introduced 2 new floats. So sounds like someone's laundry is complete. All right, so we close that. Now, company scene would need to be rebuilt, right? Because now we have these new values. Oh, there's an error. Oh, we did not mean, yeah, in C, I don't think you can actually initialize those there. So we had set cube color, set cube wire color. Void company scene init cube colors company scene, oops, C, if C so here we're setting everything to the same, but we can make it black lines. So yeah, we're gonna have to add this function in. Now that we have init cube colors, we can call it there, and then we can call it here. Now you see it's the same function, but in one context we have to add an ampersand in front of the variable name before we pass it to the function. The reason is because this function accepts a pointer, and because we declared TS on the stack, to get its address you have to take the ampersand of it. It's like an operation. So down here, because TS is a pointer already in this context, because we declared it here, we don't actually have to specify anything when we pass it to the function. You have a float CX and a float CY, right? Those need to be initialized as well. And once I have all of these kind of like initialization things on lock, I'm going to move these into a function as well. And that way we don't have like this repetition that we're doing here. So CX and CY refer to the cube X and the cube Y, right? Over in game loader, we're drawing a cube at position cube, right? Which is a vector 3. So maybe that's what we actually need to store, is instead of a float CX CY, a vector 3 cube position. I'm gonna call it cube pause though. So now instead of the size float 2, we're gonna have a size of vec 3 and just 1. Yeah, so we have to fix that code now. Line 66. And then down here, then instead of having floats just for those, we're gonna do ts dot cube pause, and then down here we're gonna do the same thing. The game still runs, right? Back over in game loader, see we're originally hard coding this cube in, but now we can get cube position directly from the company scene. So now that we have this position property, now's the real fun here. In a little bit, I'm going to take my baby out the PP. And then when I come back, I'm going to whip together the title scene, and we're going to have a title scene and company scene. And then we're going to dive into getting gameplay scene back rolling, because that one's going to be the most work in this whole setup, but because I'm going to have to close the game a lot before I get the drawing code fully working. But once the drawing code's fully working, it should not be too difficult to get stuff actually really good. We want to move this cube around now, right? Look at that. Cube is moving to the right. And we've moved it back to the center of the screen. So we can actually start moving it in such a way where it moves back and forth automatically, where we don't have to do anything else. I find it really cool that we can actually introduce like static variables to the setup here. So if we didn't want the camera to like move around, we lock it into place right here. I think we can move it up a bit. Yeah. So now you can actually see the cube moving back and forth, and it's fully 3D. And if we wanted to introduce something that like optionally draws the Evil Dojo 666 presents, you know, like we'd have to have like another flag over here where we do like draw draw presents, or do draw presents, and then oops, bool. So we just added a bool, and then we need these in like a custom sizes, or we can call them size macros. Now, why isn't it yelling? I didn't include size macros yet. There we go. Okay. There we go. Okay, so we got some errors there. So all right. Now we're gonna have to close it again. Because now over here we can say if G pointing to CS pointing to do draw presents. And we can turn that on and off dynamically now, right? So currently, by default, because we never specified like what it should initialize with, it's not going to display anything. So let's move this up, make it always on top. Back over in libgame, yeah, this function's fucking god awful at this point, but everything works, and we still need to clean things up. But we can do this. Nope, not do animate. Do draw presents. Look at that. So now we can turn that on and off on the fly. A better thing to do is, like, we need to remember to initialize it in the outset. Now shit's gonna get crazy because I'm really using this company scene as like a demo page, right? Like, we'll be able to introduce multiple cubes, we'll be able to make them move in random directions, we'll be able to organize and orchestrate all of their individual movements. ourselves. We might even play around with the idea of meshes. I don't know a whole lot about them. I'm gonna have to learn. 3D graphics is not my specialty, but I'm learning, and we can learn together, so that's great. If I wanted to change the position of the camera so that we're a little bit, because like you can't really see that the cube is flat, but like dpx and d, so this is like vector, this is like static vector cube velocity. Cube v dot x. So now it's using this new cube v, which is pretty good. Now it's like just, halted. But remember, we can set the set the cube position. So let's see. Oh, down here. Uh-oh. Okay, so there's our little grid, right? And one of the ideas that I was thinking about doing was being able to like move a dude between like I don't know that these like oh, so this is the camera. Whoops. That's kind of cool though. Yeah, so that's like a little bit further down, so that's kind of nice. But the cube position itself, like that's like dead center, right? But like I don't know if we're going to want to have tiles or like, so like 0.5 means it renders 0.5 up from the center. So like if this were 0, it's going to be like through the grid, right? So that's why that's 5. That way it appears on top of the grid. But like z of 0 would push it back a little bit. So if we did like 0.5, it lines up with the actual grid lines now. If we do 0.5 here, it shows up there, and if we do negative 0.5, it'll go forward 1, or actually to the left 1. So make it come back over. Oops. Oh, so it has to be 1.5. There we go. Okay. So if we wanted to like calculate some sort of, like for instance, if we were to move this left, we do every 1 block, right? And then so negative 4.5 is the boundary here, and then okay, so that's actually coming towards us. Okay, so 4 there is the bounds there, and then like if we were just moving around on this plane, this would be sufficient. But if we wanted to also demonstrate movement upwards, so adding 1 would move it up like that. And then you know, if we wanted to come back over to the right, so this is a good spot because it like really demonstrates the 3D effects. So this is just 1 cube, right? And like we would totally have the ability to spawn multiple cubes, move them all around independently with their own movement. Have like starting values that we could always reset to, and then have values that we're able to move around. So Let's see. So the cube velocity is currently at nothing, right? But if we're gonna do something a little crazy before I go as a demo, before I go take my dog out the pee-pee and try to scrounge around for some food or something, maybe get some more coffee. Uh-oh. Let's do -4 to 4. Uh-oh. So actually this one should be 0.5. All right, I'm gonna take my dog out the pee-pee. I'll put some more music on for y'all.
Hell yeah, I don't really want no top. Hell yeah, I don't really want no hope. I don't really want no hope. Hell yeah, I don't really want that. Hell yeah, I don't even really wanna die. Hell yeah, I don't really wanna do shit. Bitch, world got me down and I wanna just quit. Hell yeah, I don't wanna play no shows. Hell yeah, I don't wanna make no clothes. Hell yeah, I don't wanna write you a verse, bitch. Yeah, I don't wanna talk no love. I don't really want no weed. Hell yeah, I don't really want no friends. Hell yeah, I don't really need no whip. Hell yeah, I don't really want no ends. Hell yeah, I don't really want no weed. Hell yeah, I don't really want no friends. Hell yeah, I don't really need no whip. Hell yeah, I don't really want no ends. Hell yeah.
This world is a school.
There's a lot of people out there talking shit today. Time to put everybody in their fucking place. Yeah. Yeah. I feel this. Yeah. I don't give a shit. Throw you in a ditch. Slit your fucking throat. Coming for your kids. I don't give a shit. Throw you in a ditch. Slit your fucking throat. Coming for your kids. Hey, I don't give a shit. Throw you in a ditch. Slit your fucking throat. Coming for your kids. Hey, I don't give a shit. Throw you in a ditch. Slit your fucking throat. Coming for your kids. Hey, I need some fucking weed. I've got a fucking dream. Kill them fucking all. Now it is time to sleep. I need some fucking weed. I've got a fucking dream. Kill them fucking all. Now it is time to sleep. Alright, I'm back. Sorry for the long delay. So, I was thinking about it. It's cool that we got this demo page going, and I planned some more demos, and I plan to advance on this demo. But we need to start getting ready for the gameplay scene. And one of the ideas I want to experiment with is loading a one of my sprites, putting it on top of the cube, animating my sprite, and having these two things together, and then we can really say we've integrated 2D and 3D. So You see, No, I have not really had a lot of trouble with snaps. I think, in fact, my OBS is running under snap, but the thing is, I think there's like maybe a handful of packages that I had to install through snap for one reason or another. I think like the version in of OBS and snap might be more current than the version in Ubuntu's repos, something like that. Let's see. Let's start by getting the cube to stop, right? All right, there's our cube. It's in the center of the screen now. We at some point we'll need to figure out a better something as to like whether or not we need to align with the grid, or if we want to have like 4 tiles per entity and have the entity be in the center of those tiles. This could be a really interesting, nuanced detail as far as graphics presentation goes. But adjust my chair. Also adjust my keyboard. What was working now must be fixed. Let's see if this is good enough. We want to draw a texture on top of this. Okay. Tracy got some Wawa. We've updated the size of the company scene. And I just realized that the start date is getting or is overwriting the real start date, like 171,000 frames, and it's only been running for a few minutes. I don't think so. That's a bug. So when we reload libgame, time buff and time buff 2 are getting wiped out, right? And so if time equals 0, then this happens. So if we want to preserve the actual start time, like we're gonna have to export it to game loader, so that when game loader reinitializes everything, we will still have that. So these are really things that should be on game state, right? All right, so we're gonna update this to use size macros, because it's kind of a nice way to annotate. So instead of us doing it this way, Copilot was smart enough to use my size macros file to autocomplete the real intended display here. So I should probably change scene to scene int, right? Oops. Okay, so that crashed everything naturally. It still runs. Alright, scene.h doesn't actually exist. Oh, it's scenes, plural. Should be a scene int. And this is size of scene int. Oh, it's current scene. We're not actually using the current scene variable anyway yet, so it shouldn't really matter that much, but we need to have the game state have the scene on it like as an integer, so we know like which scene we're currently on. It's a little bit simpler and more crude than the system I was using previously, but this way we actually avoid having to change back and forth between like integers and strings. So by attaching a start time as a property to GameState, we're going to be able to export the start time whenever we reload the game so that we can keep track of how long it's actually been running. We would also want to keep a tm struct so that once we initialize it and we want to be able to like print it out easily, we'll already have access. Why even have this as a pointer? So what do? We do local time. Oh, so local time actually returns a pointer, that's why. So at least here, like by doing it this way, we always have a current value like this. So if we were to use this instead of the start time that we're using over in libgame, so like if we always have a game state, because the frames are not going down, right? So this is just the same process. So if start equals 0, that's why it keeps getting wiped out. So now we can actually replace it with the real start time. So let's let it run for like a 1,000 frames. So 241 is when we started it. So that should not update when we reload the game. So let's do something small, cause the game to reload, and observe both the change that I make and that the start date doesn't change, right? Good, the start date did not change. 241.34. So you should be able to undo that, and it still goes. Make the text bigger. Make the debug panel width. I really don't need to do anything with that, but we can like add 20 to the height. That way it like fits all of that text in there. Now something interesting with being able to move the debug panel around, right? So we could actually do something like this. Put it in the bottom right. Although, there we go. So that would be the bottom right. So obviously we can't have all of them at the same time, but something that we're able to do is void update game state set debug panel top left. What an awful line of code, or what an awful function name. But it makes it easy to type because it's all lowercase. No spaces, no underscores. Makes it very straightforward. Maybe we could make this just set debug panel top left. All right, so bottom left should also be 15 offset. Look at that. Okay, so now we can change the position of the debug panel virtually on the fly. Which is pretty good. We can even turn it off too. I don't know if I want the FPS display. So we can even attach a bool do FPS. This is not bad so far. That's a good question. Oftentimes I'm suspicious of that stuff because I learned how to do it like from scratch when I was in college. We could attempt to do that and see if it still works, which would make the code cleaner, not gonna lie. So I guess we could do that. So what you're saying is instead of doing this, let's see if that works. Okay. Okay. Well, that's doing its thing, so I'm using size of wrong. Hi, Durant. Please talk to me more about that. Because previously, I was using a define where I get the size of each data type in order to calculate the size of game state. But what our dude over here was suggesting was that we just use size of on game state itself, which I was suspicious of, and I just tried it out and it seems to still be working. But I'm also interested in how I am using size of incorrectly. Are you saying I was previously using it incorrectly? Because I can accept that. Standards have changed a lot since I actually learned C in college. So I'm always open to correction. Okay, well, thank you. I appreciate that. So there's other places where I'm doing this too, so I'm gonna have to update those as well, but I'm gonna hold on to that. Cool. Always good to learn some new things. So sometimes because the compiler will pad the structs for alignment, so now you can just use size of on the struct type itself. Well, that's good. That's actually, yeah, because that ends up with cleaner code as a result. But I'm definitely getting very detracted from what I initially was doing. And even in the beginning, I got detracted because I'm still wiping out the original reference to the first time struct here, because actually we don't have to do that because we're just copying it over from the game state. So that's good. I want to draw a sprite, right? I want to get a sprite on top of these cubes. For this one cube, right? I think it would be a good final target for today, because it's stepping in the direction that I want this thing to head in. Back on the game state. Not on the game state, on the company scene. So let's go ahead and fix the size of thing here too. Oh wait, and yeah, on this. No, not company, test. So let's unify these two functions. Void company scene load textures. We got company scene, got company scene load textures. We're actually using it now. Draw presents equals true. Do draw test. So now, instead of having all of these lines, we can just have init vars. And that's a lot cleaner. This looks pretty good. Wow, we got some viewers going. What's up, everybody? Good afternoon. hope y'all have eaten, because I have not. And in a little bit, once I kind of get this guy going, I'm gonna go get some pizza. So what are we doing here? We're trying to get a texture rendering on top of the cube, and not just any texture, right? Like not my title texture or my game company texture, which to get that back in there, we have to hop back over into libgamestate and then change this guy to this guy. So this is a demo that we're able to like actually draw a 2D texture on top of a 3D scene, right? But what we really want to do is render a sprite like object rather than like a title texture. And I have that, and we're about to load it, and we're gonna try to like position it so that it looks like it's on top of the cube. We're not going to handle animation today yet, but I've done it in the past, and it won't be hard to like get that guy walking. Maybe we'll actually do that too. It'll take a bit longer, and we'll see. We'll see what I got patience for right now. There's definitely a correlation between like my levels of patience and like how hungry I get, right? Like the coffee is not so strong that it's like killing my stomach right now because I decided to make some instant this morning. I'm on my second cup, but when we init the game state, not the game state, the company scene, and we go to load the textures. We're going to load our test texture. The name of the texture is not test though, it's... I actually don't have it in my directory at the moment, so... CP source, CPP, raylib, RPG, img, no. Dark Knight, 2 sheets. Dark Knight 2 dash sheets. And back over in game loader, we have this wrapper to say if do debug panel draw debug, if do FPS draw that, draw a company scene, if GCS do draw presents, then we do that. So if draw the test texture, so figuring out the appropriate destination is going to be a challenge, but it's one that I'm up for. Okay, so the texture's not big enough. The source is too small. So we can update the source by grabbing the width and the height from the texture itself. This should have an effect. Oh, a gross one. It's like really smashed together. And we also can't see the texture really well because the presents is still being drawn on top of it. So in an vars, we're going to turn off presents for the moment. Oh wait, we have to rebuild the whole thing. Wait. Yeah, we called it vars. Oh wait, hold on. Yeah, we are cleaning. It shouldn't be printing or showing Evil Dojo anymore. Thought I just turned this off. Okay, so yeah, that's really smashed together. So we have to update the destination. Okay, so we're drawing it now, but it's in the top left, right? So, because there's 4 frames, like if we wanted to clip out just the, our guy in the top left, right? So this takes the whole texture, but if we know that there's only 4 frames in there, we could just divide the width by 4. And that will cut it down. So now we're on the left-hand column of that, right? So it's still like pulling as if like the real height is the thing, but there's only 3 contexts for the height. So we need to divide the height by 3. So there's our dude, right? Now, here's the tricky part. Because he's getting blown up super big here. We need to divide these by 3. We need to divide this by 4. Now he's like the size that we read him in as. And we want to put him on top of that box. Maybe scale him up a little bit. So destination, right? Get screen width divided by 2. Get screen height divided by 2. Okay, so he's a little bit low there, but he's going in the right direction, so we want to move him up a bit, which means we have to subtract from the Y. And honestly, the best way to make this movable is to like put rectangle on the company scene itself for the test source and destination. But since we're just experimenting right now, I'll get around to doing that. But source is fine. We want to subtract maybe 100 pixels from the Y. Now he's a little bit too high, which is just the amount of high that I always aim to be. Um, okay, so now he's 2x'd size-wise, and we're getting pretty close here. This is actually going to look good, I think. Because I think at this point, y'all can start to see what I'm trying to go for. And there's probably a more proper way to do this where I can actually like render the texture using like a 3D like wall or plane, where I just like render it to like one side, and that way I can get the position perfect. But right now we're just like doing an experiment, because the next step after this would be to try and do it properly. We want to move him up a little bit more. Maybe move him over to the left. So subtract 20. Oh, that's really good. That's like almost dead center. What if we were to make him like 4x'd? Kind of big. So I guess the easiest way to do these height calculations would be to float scale still a little big. But position-wise, that's so good. At 2x, it does not look good, or not look bad at all. So if we wanted to push him down a little bit, let's try 90. Maybe even up just a little bit. But man, that looks like he's actually on the cube. So like, for instance, if I were to like do some real basic 3D stuff, I would have like cubes to the left and the right, and I could put other sprites there too. But for this to be really proper, I feel like I need to have a vertical plane that I render a texture to, and then I'm able to like set that like plane with that texture in the exact center of the cube, and that way the size of the texture properly adjusts itself. Because ultimately that's what we want to do, because otherwise the problem that we face is that if we wanted to have like depth of field with like sprites further in, then we would need to do that to begin with. And that's probably what we're gonna do. We're probably gonna do this like using 3D and put 2D textures on them. And this will actually end up making for a much better looking game than I was originally building. But that doesn't mean that we couldn't like also have another rendering engine where we do it like top down, just pure 2D style as well. But this gives me an excuse to mess around, because I find that a lot of people, you know, based off like my video performance, are really interested in 3D stuff, because I've made so little 3D content, but it's also one of my biggest video draws. So and also I want to learn how to do 3D programming too, so this gives me a lot of excuse and reason to play around with that stuff. So we're drawing cube, right? Actually, draw a plane XZ. So this would be a flat plane, right? Oh, this is a list of functions available to raylib. I have it available as a mostly plain text document on my website, evildojo.com. www.evildojo.com, which you can access like this. So what I'm actually doing over here, let me show you. So I've got a 2D sprite on top of a 3D cube, but I feel like there's a more proper way to do this, because resizing the sprite, depending upon like how far onto the cube he might be, or whether or not they might be on a cube even further back than they're currently at, is a tricky like scaling problem, and I feel like it could be done more properly if I had a sprite loaded up into a texture, like loaded up into like a, or like rendered onto a cube, I should say, or like rendered onto the face of a vertical like 3D wall of sorts, because then we'd be able to move it back and forward and have like the scale like conform depending on like how deep or how close sprite is to the screen, or to the camera, I should say. Because this looks good, but this is also just like really lucky positioning, and we don't want to hard code anything in here. We want this to be really like on point. So what I was initially looking around for over here is some sort of like hint that like a hint of how I might go about doing this, like what 3D function or 3D object do I need to render to, or something to this effect, because to give you an idea of what I'm trying to do. Like for instance, we draw this texture, turn that off for a moment. So here's our cube, right? But okay, so that's not quite right. Like rendering multiple of them. Oh wait. So here's our cube 2, and we're gonna put this directly one above, and then here's cube 2, right? So the position that we would want the sprite to actually render at, let me show you. So if we want to pull the sprite back into the field, we have to subtract from the z-axis. So it's pulled back halfway onto the cube, and I think we'd better be able to see this if I also draw cube wires. Can't really see the cube wires all that well. Oh, we never saved it. There we go. Okay. So like if I were to pull it back a little bit further, like we did 0 for the Z, and now it's like one whole cube length back, which is too far because we want it to actually render on top of the cube. So like we want the sprite to render at this position. Like we want it to render on the face of the red cube. So we're kind of doing this already-ish. But what we're actually doing is we're drawing on top of the screen to get this sprite there. But in actuality, what I want to do is have the sprite loaded onto the face of this cube and have it actually draw. There's probably a number of ways to achieve this, right? I'm not sure what the way to do it is, though, right out the gate. One idea that I'm having is that perhaps we should turn the texture into a cube mesh and then load it that way, but then it's like there'll only really be one thing that renders on the cube that we care about. But yeah, at this point, it's not clear what I'm going to have to do to get this to work, and I'm going to have to do some research. I'm certainly open to ideas if anyone has any, but this might be a good stopping point for today. Because the infrastructure's here, and we're stepping towards something. But now I have to do research on how to like render a texture to a cube. Okay, so this would take the source and draw it to a cube. Draw cube texture and draw cube texture rect. Right there. What can I not select? Damn. Models draw cube texture. Now let's go back. Check it out. Over in game loader, we're gonna paste this big old long function. So this is going to go over in the game loader .h. So we have to include RLGL. We also have to, after we init window, we have to do RLGL init. Okay, what is RLGL init supposed to take? I don't think it's on this page. Oh, it's a width and a height. And then when we close everything, Uh, okay, there's our dude again. So, uh-oh, we got a crash. Weird. I thought I would have to close RLGL in order to use it. I was just trying to be clean about it. So, oh. Let's go. Draw a cube texture rec. Uh-oh. It's in the right direction. But we need to update the source. Oh shit. Oh shit, that's so almost there. The cube is kind of big though. I gotta pee. Oh fuck, I gotta pee really bad. Be right back. All right. Last thing that we're doing before I go today. Do appreciate everyone joining a very successful stream. We're learning some stuff and we're making progress. So last thing we want to do is we want to cull the other faces off of the cube that we're rendering. We don't need to render the other faces like this. Now we're rendering our one sprite directly inside of the cube. The cube wires kind of make it look weird, so we're gonna not draw the cube wires on cube 2. That's a lot closer. And to start with, let's see if we can't find a way to make the size match up with the cube. So this is a cube position, right? And over here we have the width, the height, and the depth of the cube. So realistically, if we wanted this to conform to the size of the sprite, we need to get the size of the sprite and figure out its dimensions and render the size of the cube based off the dimensions of the sprite. And if we can do that, then we can scale it up more appropriately. So all right, so this gets the not, yeah, but we don't want the whole thing. We only want just the source. Actually, yeah, if the width is 1.0, then we're gonna want to render this as ratio. That's a little bit big and tall, and also not quite at the right position anymore. So we would have to modify the height, or rather the position. So if that's source, right, and then we have cube 2. So cube 2's height plus ratio. No, too high. Whoops. Oh, how did that get changed to 1? Oh. Still too high. Well, I guess it would be plus, so I guess 0.5. No. .25. There we go. Because well, wait. So if we were to draw cube wires for this one, it's because of the ratio that the box isn't fully rendering there, right? So like by bringing it up, we're able to kind of fix that a bit. But I actually don't want ratio of height to width like this. I actually want width divided by height. So actually, instead of ratio being here, this is also going to be 1.0 f, and this is going to be ratio instead. Oh, that looks much better. We just need a little bit more adjustment. So this would be like 1.0 f. So if we move that up, to 2.0, a little bit too high. You do 1.75. I think I want to make the cube wires like red or like white so you can really see them. And we want to try and land this. Like 1.0 plus ratio. Too high. I see we're gonna have to look at the cube position, so it's 0.5. 1.6. A little bit high. That looks good. So now if we were to take away the wires, and it looks like he's pretty much in the center of the texture of the cube, I mean. Now here's the fun part. Let's fucking go. So our dude's not going to move, I don't think. He might move with the position of everything. I don't know. So the cube 2, we don't want to update the Y, but we want the Z and the X to be the same as cube. Oh, well, now it's drawing at the same level and not as pulled back on it. What were we setting the cube Z? Oh, so we want to do minus 0.5 on that one. So over here we do that minus 0.5. So check it out. Oh, oops. Look at that shit. Oh man. Oh no. Oh no. Oops. I didn't mean to do that. But it's kind of fun. But look at that scaling though. Oh my god, it's so good. So we actually don't want to update the Y like that. We actually want to do 0 on this. We want to fix the position. Now, let's do it again. Because we want to see our dude slide around on this box. And actually, greater than 4.5, less than 4.5, greater than 4.5, less than 4.5. That's pretty good. Not gonna lie, that is really good. So while the game's running, we could even modify the speed of how quickly the cube is moving. By all accounts, this looks fucking amazing. Like, I kind of want to make the size of the window bigger just because of how good this looks. This will probably break something, but we'll deal with it. Oh no, it didn't break anything. Oh, that's so good. I'm able to just arbitrarily resize the size of the window and everything scales and conforms appropriately. This is so good. Oh man. I cannot wait to show this off to everybody. We are going to do some really cool stuff with this. The next step in this whole process would be to formalize the whole concept of the sprite and to get animation working again. We could even do like Paper Mario like this. Oh my god. So good. I've written a lot of code today and I haven't checked anything in. I've been on for 3 hours. That's like really bad for me. So let's check this code and call it a day. But I will see that again because it's so good. That looks really cool. So he's never gonna go in any other positions because of how he's moving. But we could, you know, like kind of like have different move rates. As he gets further and further back, you know, he's much further away, but it's scaling so good. So just, I want you to think forward with me on this, right? Dungeon crawler. That's what we're setting out to do. We're setting out for a dungeon crawler, right? And think like Final Fantasy Tactics. Think like Disgaea. Think like NetHack. Think like Sheeran. Think like Dwarf Fortress. Like, imagine if Dwarf Fortress looked this good. Just think about it. It would be one of the, I mean, it's already one of the biggest releases on Steam. But not only do I want to make a game in this manner, but I want to enable other people to as well. So I'm going to check the chats, and then we're going to call it a day. It's time for food. I haven't eaten anything. And I am so hype right now that I can't contain myself. Looking so good. All right, everyone. Until next time, thank you for joining. This has been Evil Dojo, live on the radio. Until next time, everyone, take it easy. And I hope you've enjoyed. Have a great rest of your week. I'm going to work on this a lot. It's already coming together and it looks so good right now. And I did this on the fly. I was like, I wonder if I could try this. I wonder if I could try this. And here we are. That's how it's done. That's how we get stuff done. You just have to dream it and then you have to do it.